Gaskins of Langgainer Sports. We manufacture the Fit Footplate for You Can Row 2, and we're going to go through a basic installation video on the Concept 2 rower today. So in order to get started, you're going to receive these things in the box. The Fit Footplate will come partially assembled so you can see what it should look like once it's on the machine, but you'll need to disassemble it in order to install it. You'll get an extension arm. This allows you to put the rower's handle in a more comfortable, easy access spot when the footplate is in place. Some locating pins and a strap that helps to stabilize the foot arm both during installation and in moving the machine once it's installed. For the installation, you'll need to provide a couple of tools. You'll need to address this fastener on the footplate and this fastener on the handlebar cup. These may be different on different model machines, so you'll need to double check your machine and get the right tool for the installation. I'm going to show you a couple of those different tools. The basic tools you'll need: a Phillips head screwdriver, and either a set of Allen wrenches for the older models or a star-tipped Torx bit for the newer models. To speed up the disassembly, you can use a power drill. Okay, so you know what's in the box, you know the tools you'll need. Let's get started. We're going to move the seat back, and we want to take apart the top of the footplate with the Phillips screwdriver. And it's quite simple. There's 6 screws to each plate. You'll want to keep all the screws together. And then you can just lift this off. And do the other side. Save these screws because you'll be using them for the reassembly. Now gently lift and separate your machine. Careful of the floor. Set that aside. Okay, next you'll go back to the new footplate. You'll need to remove the caps off of the 4 ends. And then loosen the knobs. I just have it propped up here to make it easier to work on. Loosen the knobs and then slide the foot plates out. These are the new foot plates. And you'll note on the back of these that there's a right and a left, and keep that in mind when you go to reassemble. Now we're going to take this plate along with the locating pins that were provided and go back over to the machine. Okay, next you'll want to take the monitor and set it back and tip your machine up carefully and be mindful of any floor damage or just being careful. Next you're going to take the straps, and these are the straps from the original machine, and tuck them into the plastic holders. Okay, next, take your foot plate. Now you've got to think about what's top, so towards the ergometer you're going to put the stickers down, and you're going to reassemble this foot plate with the same 6-hole pattern that you took the screws out earlier. But to do that, you will want to use the silver side of the placement pins and locate those into the previous screw holes. And it helps to go ahead and just locate all 6 of those in so you know exactly where those screws are. Because the backing is plastic and it is flexible, so you'll have to make sure that you get those holes, and it's very important. And you have to be very careful with the threads on those holes when you use the screws to put things back through. But get a good placement. Go ahead and put all of these pins in just so you've got it so it's stationed well and you know that you're in the holes, not to the side of the holes in the machine. So there's 8 pins, and you can just make sure that you're lined up, and then you can take one pin out to fix it. Now take the screws that you had from the disassembly. I have them here in my pocket. You can have them in a tray. Take your screwdriver and simply start to put those screws into the pinholes where you had it. Whoops, and if you drop it, that can happen. But go ahead and slowly thread those in. Now you have to do this very carefully, and don't use the power tools to do this because you don't want to strip out those holes. Okay, so get that set. You can sort of push that around and make sure that you're going into that hole. Now they're snug, but you don't want to strip them out. Okay, and just don't tighten them down really hard to start until you get all of them into place. Remove those. If you do the top ones first, it helps to stabilize the machine, stabilize the foot plate on the machine. And go ahead and do all 6 screws on each side, a total of 12. And be sure to put all of these in, because this is what's going to stabilize the foot plate onto the machine. Angle the screw into that hole, and it will then line up. But make sure that you get it into the hole of the plastic support underneath. And you're good. Okay, so you've got the plate snugly attached. We're going to just reattach the seat portion of the machine. So set it down gently. And you've done this part before, and taking the machine together and apart. Again, it's easiest if you get rid of the plate. You're going to lift here. And it's the same regular assembly. You're going to tilt up, align the machine, get it to lock in, and click into place. That part's good. Now, you have the new foot plates, which have the thick platforms, versus the ones that you taught that don't have the platforms. You've got a left and a right, so make sure that you get your left on your left side. You're going to slide it in. The channels will allow it to slide past the screws. You can just touch down the knob, both sides. Again, take your end caps and affix to all 4 sides. The end caps serve to, one, just as a safety, so that someone doesn't walk past the machine and skin their elbows or their knees, and it also holds the foot plates in. And there, you're good to go on the foot plates. When you use the machine, you're going to tighten this down. And that way it locks it into place, because you don't want those to shimmy when it's in use. Okay, next we're going to show you how to take the cup off of the existing machine and install the extension arm. Note at this point that the bolts that are holding the cup can be either the star tip hex or a Allen wrench, so you'll need to get the proper tool for that. Now, on the older machines, there may be a bolt going through here with a nut on the opposite side, so you'll need an extension, either socket, to fit up into the machine to lock on that in order to loosen this. On the newer machines, it's just threaded, and so you can just use your wrench to undo the things. So I'm going to just take it off here, and once they're off, you can just spin them out and take that off. So you'll take that aside. You'll need the two bolts in order to affix the arm. So now we're going to take the strap and wrap it around here in order to just simply help us install this. Now let me show you that there's a little hinge on here, And that hinge is what we're installing back into these holes. So we have to place this down onto the machine, and I'm going to just wrap this around and use the Velcro to lock it down. And that just sort of holds it for me. And then I'm going to slip it down into place over the holes, and then take my 2 screws and thread them in by hand at first to make sure that I get that. Now again, if it's a bolt and nut situation, you're going to have to hold that nut up underneath here. And that's probably an easier operation with the second person, although it is possible, and it's possible to do it when the machine is set up on its side as well. But you want to take these and get them started and then tighten them down so that's secure. And you have to make sure that they're secure because it's going to be holding this arm. And I'll show you how that works in just a second. So I'm going to get this in here and then tighten it down. All right, and once that's tight, then you can take this and pull it back and set it in here, and carefully, just like you had the other cup, and it's going to hold that arm in a position that the user can access it more easily. So when it's not in use, you want to make sure that you take this out, and then when the strap is off and you're using the machine, this will fall out of the way so you can go ahead and use the erg. And then when you're ready to put it back in place, then when you're on the machine, then you'll simply lift this, put it in here, and then you can get on and off the machine without having to lean way forward and put it there. Okay, so in wrap up, you're going to have a couple of leftover parts, nothing to be alarmed about, but the foot plates that were originally on the machine. You may want to keep those, but they won't be necessary because you have the new ones that came with the Fit Footplate. You're going to have the cup that you removed and the cup that was a new cup that was on the extension arm. So those 3 parts, not a problem. As far as the machine being set up, you now have the extender arm that allows you to more easily access the handle. As we showed you, it falls out of the way, and then you have your foot plates that adjust in and out, and the lockdown screws here. So you're set to go. You can enjoy the benefits of better alignment for the leg drive and an easier access for the handle for the users of the new You Can Row footplate. Thanks so much. Feel free to give us a call on the following numbers if you have any questions. We're happy to help.